Last Pint Productions presents the New Way podcast. The New Way contains adult content, and new episodes are released most Wednesdays. So back off, man. We're professionals. Listener discretion is advised.
So you were in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah?
Were you in the shit?
Yeah, I was in the shit.
Last night, Darth Vader came down from planet Vulcan and told me that if I didn't take Lorraine out, that he'd melt my brain.
Here's how you get him. He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me and make it.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Hello and welcome once again to the New Way podcast, where we break down pop culture so you don't have to. I am your host, Matt Shank, joined by Mr. Benjamin Scott Wilson.
Oh, hi.
And by Mr. Nicholas Santa Croce.
Well, hello. Hello there, everyone.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Seriously? Don't look like you didn't mean to do that. That was so deliberate. You couldn't hold that in?
I was really holding... First of all, someone just ran through here and burped on the microphone and then ran out like a crazed maniac. I don't know what happened. Nick and Ben were barely looking. I don't think they even saw this person run in here.
Like a demon escaped your body.
Yeah, that escaped from you.
That was it. That is correct. It did escape.
I think it startled you.
It scared me.
I watched you jump.
This sparkling ice really got into me.
Wow.
So sorry.
And out of you real fast.
Anyway,
in and out, baby.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to our new listeners out there. You can expect more of this.
Sorry.
While we're keeping with the bodily functions and sounds going, we notice Nick is eating something they have just released in the greater Los Angeles area, a Raising Cane's.
I'm sorry. I really, truly normally wouldn't do this during the podcast, but I worked through lunch. I'm hungry. I realize you should have seen me. It was like Matt's burp escaping out of me the moment I realized I was close to the Raising Cane's in Burbank on my way home. So I went in a 3-lane drive-through. They are printing money. And then I go through the one lane of the drive-through. The guy goes, okay, continue going along the drive-through. I made another lap into a different lane, which was just pickup. Cars after car. People are losing their mind. Of course, we know the magic of the chicken finger box. The Southern in us knows the power of the chicken finger box.
Yeah,
but the West Coast is only just now.
Whether it was a Guthrie's gut box or whether it was Zaxby's or whether it was Raising Cane's. I mean, obviously all of these are a little bit different and have kind of varying levels of quality, but yeah.
And I don't get a choice. And you know what? It doesn't matter, Ben. You know, if I could pick, I'd go with Guthrie's. I'm a Guthrie's man. But I don't have the luxury of being able to pick between Bud's or Raising Cane's or Zaxby's, or it's just this.
Just move back to Florida, Nick.
And let me tell you, it is. It is.
Is this your first Raising Cane's, or is this?
Oh God, no.
Okay,
Matt, who are you talking to?
I just had to check. I wasn't.
Am I Ruth Buzzy standing here? Of course, I've had Raising Cane's. And honestly, it's. I prefer Raising Cane's over the Zax. The Zax attacks. I take it over. Take it over Bud's. Even I hate to say it.
Ooh.
Blasphemous.
They have great fresh fries, but
everyone just calm down right now. Ben's eyes glowing red.
I'm sorry.
Nick, do you know what Raising Cane's doesn't have? Cod?
Soul. Yeah, no, they don't have cod.
Great cod.
I said, excuse me, do you have hush puppies or cod?
Do you got any bird sauce?
Do you have any hush puppies that I can then dip into honey mustard? Because that's got to do with the honey mustard.
Like, no, sir. We just have chicken fingers, and we're doing just fine.
Yeah,
they
are doing just fine.
That's good.
I went to Bud's like a few weeks ago.
Bud's.
The line to get through the drive-through in Bud's also took me. It was not nearly as efficient as Raising Cane's because it took me 45 minutes just to get through the drive-through line.
No way.
Yeah. The Bud's drive-through is Chick-fil-A bad.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, they deserve it.
But I will spend time in a Bud's drive-through. I will not spend time in a Chick-fil-A. Politics notwithstanding, I just have no interest in Chick-fil-A. Like, even if they weren't like garbage people, I have no interest in Chick-fil-A.
And look, I'm not going to bring up religion. I'm not. But
what?
Just I'm not even going to talk about the merits of any of that.
Of Raising Cane's.
No, but well, listen, if I look at the bottom of my Raisin Cane's cup and there's a scripture verse, I'm going to lose it.
You know that ironically in Boynton Beach, Florida, they've just built a Raisin Cane's literally right next to fucking Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
A Raisin and Cane's?
It is Chick-fil-A.
Oh my God.
Raisin Cane's. And then Applebee's, if that's what you're into.
Well, you know how when I moved to Boynton and 3 breweries popped up within walking distance, and then the city commissioned a sign that says Boynton Beach Brewery District and put it up like almost overnight. In Pasadena, down Hill Avenue.
Religious Chicken Symposium.
There's a KFC on the right. You drive 1 block, and then there's a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, a KFC, and a Chick-fil-A next to each other on the same side of the road. That's the fried chicken district of Pasadena. It has to be.
You are aware, by the way, though, Nick, that the name Raising Cane's is a biblical name, right?
Reference, like literally a biblical
reference. But Cain is like the metal character in the Bible. I'll allow it. Cain was a badass.
It's not like they called it Raisin Jobs.
Yeah. Raisin Jobs. They took our tubes. Raising Jobs.
Oh my God. Well,
it's good. It's good though. In case you were wondering, it turned out great.
Excellent. I'm so
very happy
for you.
Very, very sorry if you hear me munching. I'm going to try to be Johnny on the spot with this mute button.
Well, now Ben and I.
This is what I should have done last episode. Once I started going.
Next time we'll just shove some Raising Cane's in your mouth.
With this meat button is what it sounds like you said.
Yeah, the meat button.
The meat button.
I'll just use the
arms,
meat button.
Ben. I have 2 arms and 2 buttons.
Now Ben and I, of course, on Sunday evening, it was our golden ivory anniversary, 14 years.
Yes,
when
happy
we met
anniversary.
the Oscars.
To all those who observe.
Yes, which we did. We observed at the house. Luna and Margot made a red carpet, and awards were given out. Wilson's Awards. I won coolest and best actor in a musical. I beat out Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth for best actor in a musical, which is pretty fucking awesome because broads can't act. So I like
Put that on your resume, Matt.
it's up on my wall. I have 2 Wilson Awards.
I kind of feel like Cocaine Bear at the at the Oscars not getting at least a nomination for coolest.
Well,
not even a nomination.
I
don't think Sean Connery should have won the best supporting actor for Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, but he deserved a nomination.
Listen, much like the Academy with actors that that do not show up to the event, sometimes they are reticent to give nominations out, knowing you will not come and pick up the award. They were quite upset that Paul's girlfriend Amy did not show up because she'd already gotten her award and was not able to be there to make a speech. So this was very poorly received.
It was very.
Did anybody not show up?
I was gonna say that they damaged. I think Amy damaged her relationship with the Academy.
Yes,
on Sunday night.
Not smart.
She's gonna get a ban, about a 20-year ban.
Did anyone not show up for fear of running into Nicole Kidman? No. Okay.
No, that was the real Oscars.
Oh, okay, that was the real Oscars. Sorry. It just the Wilsons run a very classy awards. Sometimes you can't tell the difference.
No riffraff in there, although Paul was there, but otherwise no riffraff.
It's like that guy who sneaks into every Super Bowl. They get in. They get into the cracks, no matter how hard you try.
What were everyone's thoughts on the winners, the losers? Everyone happy with the awards this year for the most part?
I think that what we had said basically was like, okay, well, that's the best possible outcome, like pretty much all around. Like mostly the right movies won, the right actors won. There wasn't anything super controversial or like. There were a couple of little ham-handed bits, but ultimately it moved faster than the Oscars usually does. And so it was like, okay, well, this is a good kind of okay, we need these Oscars to be normal, basically. Like, fuck the ratings. We just need an Oscars that's normal.
But it wasn't ever uninteresting or boring or lacking. It
good.
moved and it did its job and stayed in its lane and was good.
I always got to hand it to Kimmel. Like it was a very much down the middle kind of monologue and everything on there. But man, is that guy just like effortlessly like smooth, quick. He doesn't stutter. He gets through the bits. He doesn't lean too far into the stupid shtick most of the time.
He no longer puts girls on trampolines. That's nice.
He has come a long way since the Man
Imagine
Show.
if that was the Oscar bit. We're just gonna, as far as we've come.
Or dressing up as Karl Malone.
Karl Malone in blackface. Yeah.
God, no, that wasn't just blackface. That was
whole body,
full body. I cannot even. It is mind-boggling that anybody could come back from that, and yet it really like his PR team needs a raise because it is absolutely astounding that he got out of that.
I mean, there is precedence. We had back in the day Billy
Al
Crystal.
Jolson?
Well, Billy Crystal did Sammy Davis Jr. in blackface, and then he hosted a great Oscars. So maybe we need to be offering more people who've done back in the day blackface hosting gigs for the Oscars. Hot take. You think so?
Justin Trudeau can announce best supporting.
I mean, I would be there for that.
Come on, Nick. That was clearly tan face.
I think basically the biggest controversial one we've seen out of it is Angela Bassett versus Jamie Lee Curtis.
She defied the ancient prophecy and did not, in fact, do the thing this year.
Oh, dear God.
You didn't?
Yeah, I know. I wasn't. So I really
she got the SAG though, didn't she?
No, Jamie Lee Curtis got the SAG, and the Jamie Lee Curtis rode the. She also made the greatest post on Monday morning, which was she goes, "It's a clean sweep," and it was the SAG, the Oscar, and then the butt plug award from Everything Everywhere All at Once,
so great,
pretty fantastic. I'm not gonna fault Jamie Lee Curtis for winning it. I think you could argue that Angela Bassett has a wider career in terms of very stellar performances, but did you?
All right,
like you said,
what is it?
She's had a wider career, and I was like, "What? Wait, what? No, a wider. Okay, Angela Bassett, not whiter."
No, Ben, not a wider career.
No.
That is confirmed.
No, it's like, are you talking about Jamie Lee Curtis or Angela Bassett? What's going on here?
Jamie Lee Curtis has had a wider career.
Yes, very much so.
I think you could argue the body of work for Angela Bassett is more award worthy in general if you're going to give it to someone for body of work. But going performance against performance, as much as I actually really did like her performance quite a bit in Black Panther, it's a lot of scenery chewing, stuff on there. And I think Jamie Lee Curtis does more in the specific film that we're looking at than Angela Bassett did.
I think that and I have a few friends in the Academy that echoed this sentiment. A lot of times they voted for someone else, but were actually happier with who ended up with the statue. And then
Interesting.
I think I probably would have voted Bassett if I was part of the Academy, but seeing Jamie Lee Curtis up there, thank fans of horror films in her acceptance speech was pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool.
And I think that's
great
the other thing.
Too. Great fucking speech.
I think all around the speeches, and the sentiments,
they were all
from
home
the
runs. Everyone, like, and when does that ever happen? When do you ever feel like everyone knocks it out of the park?
You always have one or two that you feel a little awkward. Yeah,
they
that's
were
why.
all
that's
good. Every single one of them.
The show just, that's why one of the reasons, or I've said like the show just moved, is because there wasn't like one of those sort of record scratch moments where you were like, did they just say that? Usually, I mean, obviously we don't have people slapping each other that often, but but in this case, it was like, it was the complete opposite of that. It was like everything moved, like everything was clean and fast, and everybody was succinct and great and emotional, and it was fun.
Yeah, I think
everything moved everywhere all at once.
I saw the wheels turning. Nick he was eating the fries and he was getting all that good energy going and trying to make the joke.
I'm like Jamie Lee Curtis, just reading the room, and putting down gold,
you know what?
baby.
I saw the joke and I said, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not your time.
Oh, good for you.
Right. That's not the one I was going for, but that's okay. Sorry.
Rusty.
Forgot which board I was on.
I like that you tried, Matt.
I tried. I really, I mean, the emotion behind all of the wins really was just pretty phenomenal to not get a good endorphin rush from watching it. So I had a great time.
A lot of crying at my Oscar party. Lots of, not a dry eye in the house.
There was one that Beth and I were crying. No, or Ben and I were crying, and Beth wasn't. There was one that we were yelling at somebody. I'm trying to remember who it was. But then we also got into a huge argument with Beth over Andrew Garfield.
No.
Ben and I were like, Andrew Garfield is like hot. She's like, he's okay.
That was all right.
That's the fight.
I'm like, he is objectively hot.
we're like, what's wrong with you? And she's like, I don't know. Just doesn't do anything. And I was like, you're dead inside.
It doesn't.
That might have been when I cried.
No. I mean, does nothing for her? Like nothing?
So, I mean, to be fair,
middle of the road. 5 out of 10. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like, but Beth has weird taste in guys. Beth is married to me, so you know she has weird taste in guys. So,
yeah, that one blew my mind. But before we get into our topic, which we'll get to I'll get to that when we actually get into the topic. It is interesting. But since we've been having some fun the last few times with the movie games, I found another little quick movie game if you guys are interested in playing.
That's so funny because I had pulled up. I'm actually okay. I'll save it. Yes, let's do a movie game.
I mean, mine's very quick. If you want to do one as well.
No. I had started pulling down the bones for one, and I was just like, no, we're going to be getting into this. So I was like, give me 5 minutes, and I'll have it finished because basically for the next episode I'll have a little game for us.
So this one's very quick.
I don't think I've ever heard the expression.
If I'm alive. No.
I've not heard. I've heard to pull down the bones. What is that?
What?
Is that a really well-known saying?
Pull down the bones. Where is it? What's happening?
Didn't you just say pull down the bones? Is that the turn of phrase that you used
No,
for the game?
Yeah, well, no.
What did you say?
I say put together the bones of it.
Oh, put together the bones.
Pull down them bones.
I pulled down the bones.
Yeah, I didn't finish it yet. I just, pulled down the bones of it.
And then I shanked the encyclopedia and slept with the voodoo doll.
Pull down.
That's right. Pull down those boner alerts.
Pull down the bones.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, Matt.
So this is another movie game called Opposites. We've played this one before. I'm going to read you a title. It is going to be the figurative opposite of the movie that I am actually looking for, which is a real movie. I'll give you an easy one to start, Ben. If I said Mother of the Groom, you would say
Father of the Bride.
There we go. Ben's on the board with one. I'll give the next one to Nick.
Land Peace.
This one's called, I have one very close to being as bad as that. This one is called Men Listening.
The Oscar award winning Women Talking.
That is correct. Ben, New York, I Hate You.
That's an LCD sound system song, isn't it?
I mean, New York, I Hate You. Can I say Paris, Je t'aime?
You absolutely can. It is Paris, I Love You, or Paris, Je t'aime. That I will accept either. Nick, this is the grossest one.
Yes.
Hand Tight.
I think we played with that band.
Yeah. Shout out to Chad Porter of Hand Fist. It's Footloose.
That is correct. It is Footloose. So
Fist
far,
tight.
a tied game here. Benjamin, the Queen of Tragedy.
The King of Comedy.
That is correct. Nicholas.
Context clues were key there.
White Falcon Up.
Black Hawk Down.
Correct. This one's the hardest one on here.
But really, is a falcon the opposite of a hawk?
You know what? Sometimes you've got to figure out. I tried earlier to. I'll wait because I have one similar to it. I'll tell you the one I tried. But this is a
a fist isn't a foot. You can make a fist with your foot. As we know in Die Hard.
Good. Ben, black women can sit.
White men can't jump.
That is correct. That is correct.
Black women can sit.
They can't. Black women can sit. Also, one of the sequels I'll be pitching tonight. All right, Nick. This is the hardest one on here, so you're gonna have to really think about this one. The daddy leaves. The daddy leaves.
The mommy comes.
Right? I mean,
is that it?
It could be. I'm sure that movie exists. That wasn't the one I was looking for, but
that's what's open in my private browser on my phone.
All our phones just heard that, and all our phones are now putting that into our search history.
Yeah, Alexa, order "Mommy Comes."
The mommy comes.
The mommy comes.
That is
okay,
incorrect.
for real. Well, that was my joke. That was my joke, guys.
Okay.
What was the clue again?
The daddy leaves.
The daddy leaves. The daddy leaves.
Daddy makes me think that it is mommy, but I can't think of a movie with mommy. The mother. I don't know.
This is a trick. This is a little bit of a tricksy one. This is.
Is it like leaves like on a tree, like make like a tree?
I will
leaf?
say it's a movie starring the Best Actor winner of this most recent Oscars in a famous franchise of his.
Oh, The Mummy Returns.
Yes, there you go. Told you it was tricksy.
Well, again, mummy and mommy are one and the same. They're an opposite game. It's a misleading clue.
Well, mummy and daddy. Yes. Daddy was the opposite of mummy.
Oh, you did say daddy. That's right.
right.
Never mind.
You said the mother comes.
That was good.
Anyway, Ben, Mr. Believe Water. Mr. Believe Water.
Mr. Believe Water.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one.
Go word by word.
Yes. Mrs. Doubtfire.
There we go. We knew we'd get
As
there.
I said, hello.
I heard you gargle into your Raising Canes. Nick, Abroad Together.
I'm just gargling cane sauce.
And then the mommy comes.
Yes. Abroad Together, Nick.
What's the opposite of abroad?
The mother with us.
Say it one more time. Sorry. I'm too busy trying to think of a stupid joke.
Abroad Together.
Okay. A World Apart.
No.
Separate Ways, parentheses, Worlds Apart by Journey, the movie.
No.
No? Okay.
None of the above. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I can't concentrate when you're counting down like I.
Well, we got to get to the topic. So I'm going to say this: Home Alone. Home Alone. Okay, Ben. These are the last two.
Oh, it was Abroad Apart. I was just like, what the fucking
Abroad Together, Home Alone. Come on, that's fair. This is The Brothel of Joy. The Brothel of Joy. I do have a hint for this one if you need it.
Abroad Together. Enter the Big Apple.
Brothel of Joy.
It is part of a series starring a character who, if in this game, might be called Ohio Smith. Ohio Smith and the Brothel of Joy. No, did Ben freeze or is Ben just?
Yeah, I'm having a.
That was a perfect freeze.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Nick, would you like to steal to make up for the one you missed?
Read the clue one last time.
Ohio Smith and the Brothel of Joy.
Or Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
That's correct.
I thought Temple of Doom. Temple. I guess. Yeah. I guess you're right.
Listen, I had to think of an option.
I was sitting there going through the Indiana Jones titles, and I was just like, none of them work.
So my first one I tried to do was Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I had like the defenders of the located, and I'm like, what the fuck is the opposite of an ark? And then I Googled like, what's the opposite of chest or trunk? And it's like arm. And I'm like, none of these are going to work. So I went with Temple of Doom. All right, Nick, the last one.
Fair enough.
Your last one to finish out the game is Okay Boy.
Okay.
Okay, boy.
So it's not Gone Girl. Okay.
Okay, boy.
All right. Okay, not okay. Upset. Girl. It's creepy girl. Sad girl. Okay. Depressed. Okay. Okay, I'm fine. Fine.
This, the inner monologue that we're hearing right now from Nick is pretty.
It's like
pretty
a
epic.
live stroke.
Girl. Something girl. Hit girl.
I'm going to say you're on the wrong. You're going down the wrong path for that second word.
This game, the rules. It just this isn't NAM.
If it was
okay?
easy, it wouldn't be fun.
It's not Gone Girl.
No.
Okay, boy. Okay, boy.
Okay, boy.
God damn it! I'm gonna be mad, aren't I?
You're gonna be very upset.
This is for the win, Matt. If you fudge the rules,
I'm going to say
clue.
A new film in this franchise has just recently been announced to be directed by one James Gunn.
Then it's Superman.
Mm-hmm. He's an okay boy.
Boy.
It's a Superman.
The semantics there are a little strange.
You know what, guys? I didn't see anyone else making up games from scratch for the entertainment of the rest.
This was a deleted scene from Fargo where Margie's at the table trying to play this game. He's like, Superman! He's a Superman, Margie!
Listen, I thought I did a phenomenal job with those, and some of them I stole from other people, so it's fine.
I mean, the other thing you could have just said is shitty girl, which that would have been pretty easy.
You know what? I didn't want to disparage the ladies on our all male podcast. You know, sometimes I'm thinking out for
our not all women.
That's right. Don't you forget it. Okay, well we've blown through 25 minutes doing nothing.
I can talk a little more about this Raising Cane's now that I finish it. I can give my full review.
You know what? We'll do that as a cliffhanger for next episode. That'll get people to tune back in.
For our Patreon members, I will tell you just how juicy those tenders were.
And how many unique spices are there in the blend for Raising Cane's?
Just not enough, 13. Maybe.
Not just 13. Enough. That's KFC.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what the Raising Cane's spices are.
Probably 14 because it's so robust.
I would say it's 9. It's simpler. It's better.
Streamlined sauce.
Yep.
Well, now I have to know. Raising Cane's.
Get that nut.
No. What is this? Okay, this is going to take too long. All right. No. So, on to our topic. This is one that Nick suggested. It is a sequel to one of our podcasts, episode 180, where we pitch sequel ideas to existing movies.
You don't have the bong sound effect, the Christopher Nolan bong effect here?
Sure it exists somewhere, Nick, but
it's a sequel to the episode about sequels where we're pitching a sequel.
And that should be the Inception sound.
That's where you would put it. That's where you would put it.
I've got.
I love it.
That'll have to do for right now. Sorry. But I don't really keep the Inception one on there. That's one I don't always have on ready to go. I'll have to add it to the mix.
I'd probably overuse it if I had control of the board.
Possible. So the rules of this one are very simple. There are very little rules.
I had control of the board.
I'm going to start to mute here.
Pomone and Pumbaa callback from our old karaoke.
Pomone and Toomba. Those two, from the Disney film, the tiger, the tiger ruler, the tiger ruler. So
DJ Toomba.
Those are the knockoff toys they sell in Singapore.
Pimba and Toonga. Yeah, they're from Africa, but they're South Africa. They're South African.
Matata.
What did you say?
Haluna Matata.
Oh, I thought I heard something different on that second word. I thought that was real.
Haluna Ratata.
Okay, the Ratata sounded.
What a wonderful phrase.
Sounded a little concerning to me.
Oh my god.
I mean, I'd watch that movie too. But anyway, so the rules of this are very simple. We are going to create a sequel to an existing movie. Now, we can make a sequel that can
Is that
take,
a rule or just like
that can well, I'm saying that can take place over, it can supersede an existing sequel. So let's say Nick had a better idea for Ghostbusters 2. He could pitch what would have been Ghostbusters 2 instead of the Ghostbusters 2 we got.
So there are no rules, just right.
Anyway, that's where I need better sound effects. Need something.
There are no rules.
There are no rules. So I'm going to say, maybe Ben, why don't you start us off, and you can decide how if you want to get into the story, if you want to hold the title till the end, whatever you want.
Because I'm doing both in the same manner that I've done in the past, where basically I'm going to start explaining it, and the first one to get it gets like the bonus point. Whatever.
I like this. I like it.
Yeah. So,
have you really thought this out, or you just pull the bones down on it?
No, I'm pulling out my notes.
Okay.
Pulling out his bones.
So, all right. So set the stage. There is a
Moonstruck 2, Electric Boogaloo.
How do you know? There is a long-term deep space exploratory mission.
Aliens.
No.
Alien Resurrection. Prometheus.
Let me at least get into the bones of it before you start yelling out shit.
Oh, good for you.
Go on, continue.
Oh fuck! I forgot to write down the title of it. Okay, it's okay. You'll just know what it's or is it a sequel? Anyways. So
what?
We're on an intergalactic long-term mission, basically, and we don't really know who these people are.
Ben just gave air quotes, just so those of you listening
yes, air
can
quotes.
know.
They're led by a very charismatic, sort of megalomaniacal person. They're traveling between star systems, so this is supposed to take a very, very long time.
What is SpaceX?
So anyways, their leader has been working on this basically. And here's the thing: all of these individuals, just based off of the fact that they've been together and sort of evolved almost in a way, they have some telekinetic ability, but all of them, especially the leader, has been refining sort of a process and a machine that allows all of them to kind of combine their telepathic ability to, kind of affect change if they want to. And so, anyway, there's a doctor. Let's call them the resident physician of the ship that's crossing the galaxy, that keeps warning people that this is actually like making them weaker, as like it's actually degrading their own bodies, and it's basically like it's killing them. It's very slowly killing this race. And so
I do have a half a guess. Do you want me to guess?
Hold on just a minute before you, because I'm gonna get a little bit farther. So, in a process of testing this machine, there's a problem, and they have to make an emergency landing, basically on this sort of uncharted planet, in order to regain resources. And there, they come across a people. And the doctor says, this is a great opportunity for us to sort of study this, these celestial beings. But the leader basically says, no, well, if we're dying, this is a great opportunity for us to essentially harvest these people these beings. Any ideas yet?
Soylent Green 2?
How do you know?
I thought at first you were pitching the replacement sequel for Cocoon called Cocoon: The Return, but I now don't think it's Cocoon.
No, it's not.
Cocooned.
Cocoon.
But spelled like gridlocked with the apostrophe D.
So what they do is essentially against the doctor's recommendation, and now their civilization's factioning off because they're disagreeing. The leader of this ship takes a bunch of people basically from this place and says, we're going to study them, we're going to watch them, we're going to continue to use our telepathic abilities in order to figure out what it is that sort of makes their bodies so much more resilient than ours. And so they bring them in, and then I would just, so basically what's happening though is the doctor says, doesn't really agree with the way that this whole thing has come about, and feels that this is essentially a form of genocide in a way, and just sort of mass experimentation. And so as the takes back off, what he does is essentially take all of his collective memories that the rest of them share, and he injects it from himself into one of these beings. So this person now becomes a new person. They don't recall anything from their previous life. Their name is Dr. Schreibert, and he downloads his memories in an early form and injects them into this human who has no recollection. And then cumulatively, this society continues to kind of reshape this ship that's traveling through space so they can study these people that are now being kept captive, but unaware that they're being kept captive because of how that they've manipulated their environment around them. This is a prequel.
This is
a prequel, not a sequel.
It is a prequel.
Oh, I thought this was a sequel.
No, well, so that's
why you have rules. That's why you have rules,
and that's why I use my air quotes.
Unbelievable. That's a loophole.
Is this the Event Horizon?
No.
Is this Star Trek? Is it a Star Trek?
It is.
Sounds like a Star Trek.
Yeah, a working title would be Before the Dark, and it's Dark City. Alex Proyas' 1998 film Dark City, where these people are on sort of this celestial thing. They're moving through space and time, and are being with these people. The original beings that you're following are actually, those are the strangers. And they're the ones that can tune, and it's actually, like I said, one of the doctor who dies is the one who actually implants the idea of sort of a rebellion in Dr. Schreibert's head.
That's
much the concept.
I like
nice. I like
the idea of a more Dark City lore. That is really a good. I mean, like at the heart of this topic, it was finding a franchise worthy of a retcon or a true sequel.
On. Expanding on. And I really do love Dark City. I think it's a great movie. And it's like, I always want to know, I'm like, because they show, like, when one of the strangers dies, they show it's like this little kind of spider. Which I was trying very closely not to say people, because they're not. They're just like telepathic aliens. But I always thought that I was like, where are they from?
Yeah.
Like, and the whole idea is that they're basically traveling across the universe, dying, and they need to,
I like it.
Trying to get to a new star system where they can kind of repopulate their society. Yeah, that was my thought.
This is Ben saying, I'm not gonna let them Prometheus Dark City. Not
this time.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
That was.
I really wish I had loosened up my own rules and gone with prequels, because I struggled, gentlemen, on this one more than I have on almost any other podcast. So I have one actual sequel pitch, and then I have one that is a fucking SNL skit of a joke that I scribbled down in a fever dream.
I can never know if that's like what my legitimate answer is, or if it's just going to be perceived as.
My other sequel pitch is an actual sequel, and it's going to be much easier to guess.
Ooh, I like this. Well, let's go. Let's hand over to Nick. Let's hear your first one.
Let's do it, Nick.
All right, gentlemen.
Are we guessing, or is this a?
Hold on to your butts.
Are you going to let us know what it is?
You know what? You'll know when you jump in. You'll know when you jump in. I'm going to make it real easy for you.
All right.
Honey, we shrunk the kids. Then we blew up the kid. Then we shrunk ourselves. Honey, we blew up ourselves. Honey, we blew up ourselves.
I like it.
Starring Rick Moranis.
Yes.
Everybody comes back. I don't know who played Nick Zelensky, but that kid comes back. Kerry Russell comes back as the love interest. We bring everybody back. The problem now is that if you thought the baby running around Reno was big, just imagine a giant. Well, I guess you did see it. I guess you did technically see a giant Rick Moranis in the first film, but see that's the mindfuck element of it. Now Rick Moranis is as big as his children saw him, only now they're normal size, and their father is the one that's large. It's not a game of perspective. Anyway,
I don't like the phrase normal size. They're of a size. There's no normal size, Nick. We're all different sizes.
It's a nod to the past and a wink to the future of the Honey We Blanked Ourselves.
Wink
franchise.
to the Future is also a good Back to the Future sequel.
I took my mother to Doc Brown's house, by the way. She was very
so
happy.
awesome.
Did you ever think
Michael Myers' home, to the PB house? She was loving it.
If that actually happened, like how somebody that big would be able to eat, you'd have to actually blow up food along with them.
Which would be amazing.
Honestly, that is the story. It becomes kind of a farce, as you can imagine. But like, they can't put them down. They're not going to kill them. They wouldn't even have the firepower to if they wanted to kill Rick Moranis and his giant wife. But they have to put them somewhere they're not going to hurt someone, number one, where they can sit down.
Skull Island.
Without taking out a city. Yeah. But see, that's it. It becomes kind of like a kaiju story because they don't know what to do with them, and they don't want to put them down, but they have to continue living. So they find a place like an island off.
Dude, if you do a mashup of the Honey Eye universe and Kong and Godzilla, so our next movie is Kong versus Godzilla versus Zelensky. That could be the greatest movie of all time.
I just I wanted a kaiju Honey.
And then there'll be like an inside joke where Rick Moranis is like, "I fought plants like you before," and everyone's like, "Oh, he said the thing. He did the thing."
Him and his wife, like on the waterfront cell or whatever. Him and his wife can have sex on the island, and they can call it Pacific Rim Job.
Oh my god!
On the waterfront style is the worst sex position ever. Oh, holy shit. Well, I would watch it.
I was thinking actually From Here to Eternity style.
I'm gonna green light it
tastefully.
I think it's great.
And then we would just pan to some tiny curtains because they wouldn't have been blown up alongside with them. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you'd have to
logically.
You'd have to roast whale if you were that big.
Yeah, listen, like let them going fishing for whales and shit. That'd be awesome.
Blow up the turkey at the beginning of the first movie. Why is he not solving world hunger at this point? He has a machine that can make resources unlimited. He could feed the world.
That's a good point.
And all he's doing is busy blowing up kids and going to Reno.
And see, after the disaster that was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, then blowing up the children, then shrinking themselves, he had since, he thought his father was not dabbling in this anymore. Surely 3 huge lessons were imparted. But no, he doesn't learn. He continues dabbling. He blows himself.
He's been trying to make his dick bigger this whole series. That's all he's been doing. And he keeps making the whole, if he can figure out how to just isolate it to one part of the body.
And since then, Nick Zelensky, he doesn't want to become a scientist anymore. Maybe that was his aspirations when he about to look up to his dad, but he's coming to terms with the fact that maybe his dad has this mad power. Should have been held accountable for his crimes, but at least he's on the right path. And now he's like, does he help his dad? Does he dabble back into science after becoming a Twitch streamer? What he truly wanted to do?
If that family doesn't have the biggest dicks on the block, they have not used the technology in the way it was meant to. That's all I'm saying.
The technology works in absolutes.
Correction.
They shrink it or they blow them up. All right.
They have not used the technology in the way that Matt would have used it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're telling me if I'm making a money-making device and I can just give you a little gun that you zap your thing and it makes it bigger, I wouldn't be a gazillionaire?
Honey, I gained 3 inches.
I did
Starring
think
Rick Moranis in his triumphant return to film.
I did think Ben's idea, the Honey I Blew Myself, would also make a good movie, but a totally
Starring
different plot
Tobias
line.
Funke. You'd have to have an Arrested Development cameo.
Oh Lord Almighty! All right,
Matt.
So this is not a. I'm not doing any guessing involved in this one. I'm going to just tell you. Other than the title, which I will save to the end, but I have made a sequel to one of my most beloved movies of all time, The Princess Bride. And this is the framework of the new Princess Bride. It's 20 years later.
You know what? I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
So you want to go on and on about how great the Princess Bride is, but here you are, the first opportunity to fucking cash in, and you have a Princess Bride sequel pitch.
Damn right.
You disgust me.
But Fred Savage will not be in it, even though his character will be. He'll be recast as an adult, played by Nick Santacochi. How do you feel now, asshole?
I take it back. I'm sorry. I fully endorse it. Continue, please.
Dick. So yes, the young boy from the frame story of the original Princess Bride has grown up. He now has two twin girls who they've heard the story of the Princess Bride, and they're begging him on a rainy day to tell. They want to know what happened after the Princess Bride. And he said, well, there was no book. And they said, well, you dabble in writing. Maybe you can tell us a story of what happened after the Princess Bride. So he begins to make the story up on the spot. And this is a story. Wesley and Buttercup have become the new king and queen of Florin. They have a little baby boy named Max, named after Miracle Max, who helped them get together. Prince Humperdinck has been exiled from the kingdom and has never been heard from since, so we still keep that happy ending going. Now, Wesley's gone to great lengths to keep the peace with their neighboring kingdom of Gilder, so everything is going fairly nice. Inigo has been sailing the seas as the dread pirate Roberts. They don't see him, but he sends letters often. Fezzik is kind of the advisor to King Wesley, and he helps keep order in the kingdom. And he is also very fond of the Queen's advisor, a new character named Lady Yesti, who's also a very talented swordswoman. She's interested in him, but she's doesn't really do kind of the romance thing. Both of them are too self-conscious and awkward to tell each other how they feel. So Wesley and Buttercup, of course, see a little bit of themselves in this relationship and decide they're going to step in and kind of help matchmake. So they enlist the help of Miracle Max and his wife Valerie to whip up a courage potion for Lady Yesti. So they give her the potion, but it goes wrong. And she grows not only angry and fearsome, but she grows in size to become a giantess herself.
Honey,
she blew herself.
Blew up the swordswoman.
God damn it, stealing my thunder again, Nick. So she begins destroying the kingdom. Even Wesley can't best her with his sword and nearly dies in the process. So Buttercup and Fezzik decide to enlist the help of the best swordsman they know, Inigo Montoya. So they sneak aboard the Dread Pirates' ship. This is a big scene where they have to pretend to be just pirate people so that they don't blow his cover, and there's a lot of kind of mistaken identity type stuff. Eventually, they're able to get him alone and explain they need his help, and he agrees maybe it's time he gave up, being a pirate, and he takes the ship back to port and hands down the mantle to his second in command, a woman named Rosalind. The three then set sail for Florin. In the meantime, Lady Yesti has now angered the neighboring people of Gilder, and they're considering it an act of war, and we find out that Prince Humperdinck has secretly been working with the people of Gilder and building them to distrust the people of Florin. So we're on the cusp of all-out war. Wesley tries to talk them down, but they mob him, and it looks like it's over. But in the nick of time, Inigo, Buttercup, and Fezzik arrive. Inigo and Fezzik decide to go and fight Yesti and get her. And then Wesley and Buttercup's going to go to save Wesley. So Wesley and Buttercup explain things to Gilder. They expose Humperdinck for who he is, and then they're helped by Rosalind, who shows up as a dread pirate Roberts, saying that she will unite all the pirates against them as well if they want to go to war. This scares the people of Gilder and Prince Humperdinck because they're fearful people, so they relent. Now Inigo is sword fighting Yesti, and he is just as good as she is, if not better. And he is winning, and he is about to deliver the final blow. But Fezzik does not want her to be killed. So he thinks he can speak to her. So he professes his love for her, and he gives her love's true kiss. And all of a sudden, all of the rage and anger that's been inside her goes, but she keeps her giant physique, which Fezzik is very happy with. And so in the end, all is well in Florin, and everyone has a happy ending. And the girls back at home who've been hearing the story urge their dad to write this book, which they are calling The Giant Groom. Or Honey, I Blew Up the Groom.
Sure. I'm down with all of it. I'm not sure about Lady Yeasty.
She is yeasty, my friend.
I like that you kind of we have a new Andre in town.
Yeah.
A great nod. I love it.
Yeah.
But a mean Andre.
We get a little She-Hulk. We will be casting Tatiana Maslany as and that's it. There are no other choices.
No,
all right,
she
Ben
would do well in a Princess, a Reiner.
Oh hell yeah! She's got the nod to the. I mean, everything's almost breaking that fourth wall the whole time. So yeah.
The only real question though is: do you bring Mark Knopfler back for the score?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
How not?
Yeah. You couldn't.
Although I read recently or today when I was kind of working on this, I did read that one of the things holding up the musical that they've been trying to do this musical for years is Mark Knopfler wants 75% of the publishing rights for, even though someone else is writing both the music and the lyrics.
Oh, okay.
And that has literally been one of the things holding up the ability to do this as a musical.
Mark Knopfler don't fucking play.
That's right. So we ain't getting that musical anytime soon. All right.
He'll play with that. But he'll play Grand Ole Opry with Alison Krauss.
Absolutely. Because they paid. You got to pay to play. All right, Benny. Let's hear your second sequel pitch.
All right. Like I said, this one's a little easier to guess, especially if you are familiar with the film. So,
In Front of the Green Door.
This is basically kind of a
it's a prequel.
No, it's not a prequel.
No, In Front of the Green Door is a prequel. Sorry, keep going.
So Lelena is a divorced mother of two. She's estranged from her ex-husband. Lelena. Who she's estranged from her ex-husband, who she met when she was in film school in the late 90s. So she has a bunch of friends that she kind of came up with just before that, and they've all kind of reached different levels in life. She was always considered to be the real, like, talented one, the one who had sort of a drive, the one who wanted to move on. Where, meanwhile, a lot of her friends who didn't seem to, were more aimless, have all had like successful careers. Her friend and former romantic interest, Troy, who was like a loser who had inexplicably failed upward, he curtailed his band career into having a successful A&R job, which he then curtailed into having his own label or his own imprint on a large label. And he was considered working really, had worked with a bunch of big bands. He had actually hired one of Lena's other friends, and these were all a group of friends, Vicky, who, previously worked in retail and really just had kind of an aimless, direction in life. They have also kind of had an on again, off again romantic relationship at this point, Vicky and Troy, but they've continued to work together and they've been pretty successful. And one of their other friends, Sammy, he actually moved to LA and has become a relatively successful working actor. So she's, kind of despondent about her lot in life and where she is. She feels like she is really kind of aimless in this spot. But then sort of the huge thing that breaks, the thing that happens is that another acquaintance from this period of time when they were kind of growing up, coming up, and as their young careers together, Michael enters the chat, let's put it that way, and reveals that he's written a book about that time in their lives that reveal a few very choice things. One, this very respected artist turned A&R turned business owner, Troy, really has a bad past of sort of being an asshole. and gets pretty detailed into some of the ways that he abused and belittled women. He reveals that Sammy is gay, which is this is an actor that has not come out to anybody professionally. This is all in this book, and there's also quite a bit of choice stuff about Lelena and her relationship with Troy and Vicky and everything like that. And Michael basically approaches Lelena and says, you know, I didn't tell anything but the truth, you know, in this book. And the resulting conversations, or you could say the third act of the film, is basically him continuing to not necessarily threaten in a bad way, but them to come to terms with the fact of they were imperfect people and they all made mistakes. And it ends basically with Troy and Lelena and Vicky deciding, okay, it's fine, you can release the book, basically, and we'll let the chips kind of fall where they may. We're thinking slice of life. I'm thinking very Richard Linklater might be a great director for this film. Do you have any idea what it's a sequel to?
I'm trying to go with the names.
Yeah, all the names are the same character.
Sammy.
All the same characters in the first movie.
You always do. You always do.
It's not
Troy.
Say Anything.
No.
Lonnie.
Lelena, Vicky, Troy, Michael.
Vicky.
Would you like me to name off the cast?
I'm hearing Vicky and Troy and thinking Community.
No, so
cast would
this
be good.
the bad working title of this film is Back to Reality. This is a movie starring and directed by Ben Stiller, Ethan Hawke, Winona Ryder,
Wow.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Damn it.
Ballsy
And a little-
son of a bitch making
and
a
little
sequel
Steve
to
Zahn.
Reality
Yes,
Bites.
that's right. This is a 20 years after the fact sequel to Reality Bites.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Reality bites back.
Yeah, Reality Bites back. Back to reality.
The title alone is
Wow.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
it's a problematic movie, but it's
sure.
it's still fun to watch. I mean,
Formative soundtrack.
Yeah.
very well, yeah, almost worth it for the soundtrack alone. And just think, that's what you can do with a 20 years or 25-year post thing, is you can try and cultivate a soundtrack that's just as potentially but something that's, you know, a little bit more modern.
Something that would make Pitchfork Media cry.
There you go. Yes,
That was a good that
reality bite sound.
The Reality Bites episode of 60 Songs when they're going through that one was pretty phenomenal.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that they did that.
That was really good. Awesome. I would watch it. I greenlight that one as well. So far, greenlight.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because he's like, did Winona end up with the wrong guy? Where it's just like, you know that. But that's the thing, is the end of the movie, you know those people aren't staying together. You're like, oh, they've got 6 months tops.
That was the big thing in the 90s, was that you can't have a career, and we'll have the actual conversation when she does the podcast. But I was talking to my friend JB about Rent, and she goes, my problem with that show, she goes, why don't any of them get a job? And she's like, I was in New York during that time, and I wanted to do all kinds of things. And you know what I did? I had a job. I worked at a coffee shop. If they had a job, they could get way more drugs and do all those things. Why doesn't everyone get a job?
Hey, Benny has a job. And guess what his first line, not singing in the first song is, hey, a bum, yeah, you move over. Get your ass off that Range Rover.
That's right. They all make fun of the one guy that went and got a job and all the rest of them that don't have a job. And then the one who's going to get a job directing things are like, oh, well, that's not a good job.
Listen, Mimi dances at the Cat Scratch
She
Club.
does. I do say that. That was my one argument, is she is and Maureen and Joanne do some work. But really, they could pay that rent if you know,
you can't open up a restaurant in New York City. That's why they're waiting on Santa Fe. The real estate is insane.
If Roger just would go play some open mics somewhere and make some money, I mean, I don't know. I think they could.
All it takes is one song.
One great song.
Glory.
Amazing.
I like the mileage we're getting out of this.
Absolutely. All right, Nick, you're up.
I love how you just aligned yourself with anti-rent heads just so you can team up on us.
That's right. Well, this person
Ridiculous.
is closer to having actually been in rent than any of us here, so they have a unique perspective.
Fair enough. I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Matt.
All right, Nikki.
All right, you guys have these very well fleshed out sequels. I'll tell you what. I'll give you 2 premises instead of a long-term
Premises.
a premisi, if you will.
It's 2 more movies in the Honey, I Blew Up series.
Yes. Now, what happens when you can't shrink and you've already shrunk everything? You've already blown everything up.
Honey, I Solved World Hunger.
Honey, I Solved World Hunger, starring Rick Moranis.
That's right.
It's a feel-good family romp. It's a feel-good story of the year. Just when we needed it, Matt. Just when we needed
Family,
it.
not
Good
famine.
news.
That'll be the byline.
So, I know I'm going back to the well on these next 2, but it just fits too well for me. First one, if we bring back basketball, okay?
I almost did this.
Basketball,
It
writes itself. It writes itself. The sport becomes exactly what they hate. It transgresses into this soulless, money
Corporate.
machine. Yeah. But with Trey Parker and Matt Stone attached to write this sequel, bringing their classic South Park satirical flair, they could think about what has happened in the world of sports since the first basketball. Their only beef was that the professional players make too much money and the teams change cities. That was the worst thing about sports back when the Zuckers were in that movie, right? Think about what they could do.
And now the young, powerful. I'm just about to say. I'm sorry. I'm jumping in on yours. But now the young, powerful star team is Andy Samberg, Kiva Schaffer, and Norman.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
I love it.
But look, it is a real tightrope to walk. But man, you could take on FIFA, NFL. You could get really, you could have it a real social commentary. You could have, anyway. I'll leave it to better minds.
I like it
to do that. However, the next one, this is the reason I thought of this topic, because I was like, oh my God, it's right in front of us. Why haven't we gotten this sequel? And that's when I pitched the idea of the podcast to you, Matt. I then found out that it is in fact going to be a sequel directed by the same director, starring the same star, based on the sequel of the book of the original author. And of course, we're going back to the well. I'm of course talking about Alexander Payne's Election. There is a sequel coming out for, I think, Netflix. Tracy Flick Can't Lose.
Can't lose. Yeah.
Oh, Can't Win. No, Can't Win. Sorry, that's Parker Lewis. That's Parker Lewis. It's Tracy Flick Can't Win.
Wow.
And it's about Tracy Flick, who is now a school teacher. Okay. So of course she's now back where Mr. McAllister was after Great Promise. I don't like that premise. I get it. Especially how Tracy Flick was always represented by a straight line, both in geometry and in the way that they wrote her. The first time you see Mr. McAllister, he's running around a track in circles over and over and over again, showing the monotony of his life. And Tracy Flick is always these hard, straight lines. But now she's made that circle back to the first movie. I understand why he did it. But first off, the title is unforgivable, because it has the biggest slam dunk. It's both a slam dunk and a layup of a sequel name, and it's not what it's called. How do you not call the sequel to Election Re-Election? It is right there, hanging, low, sweet, succulent, ripened fruit of a title.
I would call it impeachment.
Well, that would be really great too. That's what I'm saying. You have plenty of just ripe potential there on the title, and it's Tracy Flick Can't Win, which to me is whatever. But here's what I would change. I want her to succeed in politics. The last time we see her in Election, Mr. McAllister is working in D.C. as a tour guide, and he sees her slink off into the town car limousine of a prominent senator from Nebraska, right? And that's when he's filled with rage and throws the milkshake and realizes that she's going to succeed. You know what? She is going to succeed, and she should succeed. She's cut out for politics. She was made for politics. She climbs the ladder quite quickly, okay? But what I want is I want the senator she's working for. Now, look, Tracy Flick would be conservative. She would be a Republican, most likely. What if her senator is like a Ted Cruz? Somebody who, while upholds the quote unquote, beliefs of the party, she just can't. She, in her heart, I think Tracy Flick is a nuanced, layered woman. And I think in her heart, maybe she would go through the motions if it was somebody else. If it was a Mitt Romney, say, or a McCain, right? She'd have no problem playing the game. But she gets paired up and works her way up with a senator that she just eventually can't stand, who makes her feel like less of a person, dehumanizer. And then she sees all this line going on backstage. She's got a front row seat. And this is Tracy Flick's redemption story. Because now when I look back on election, I feel like she really got the raw end of the stick. And it was just this sort of, she was unlikable, but she was driven. She worked really hard. Her heart was in the right place. She was just annoying. That was her biggest crime.
Honestly, that's the way that you can get everybody back on her side, unapologetically, is you just watch the first 45 minutes of her getting railroaded by this fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
And he needs to be dumb. Like, he needs to be the opposite, like someone that has failed upward and is just like a fucking idiot. So that she's just like, how did this guy get to the same place? And she's working for him. She's not in his position. Yeah, she's a lackey.
Basically, it's the Chris Klein again. Only this time, the guy isn't nice. Like,
right. It'd be fucking great if it was actually the Chris Klein character who made it to like a senatorship, and she's now still in that same fucking thing. Like, that's a little too precocious.
That's on the nose.
But I do love the idea of her working for Chris Klein.
Or you could even play it like, she actually knows that Chris Klein was a nice guy. I think at the end she comes to this understanding.
Does she go to him for help in the between the second and third act to feel like how did you win the popularity that I couldn't?
He owns like the biggest like car dealership,
hot tub dealership.
Yeah, exactly. He's got local power, right?
Yeah.
No, his dad does have. Metzler takes over the Ford dealership, right? But like, what if she even internalizes it and like she lets this senator get away with murder at first, because maybe it is Paul. Yeah. Maybe it is a Paul Metzler. Maybe he isn't a bad guy. Maybe it's just me. And then she realizes, no, I'm right to feel this way. This guy is an asshole, needs to go down. And so she takes him down. Good old fashioned political espionage. Maybe she Maybe she seduces him. Maybe she uses her feminine wiles. Maybe she outsmarts him. Any way she does it is fine by me, as long as she comes out on top. And that's why I don't want a story about Tracy Flick not winning. I think yes, she won the election, but she didn't win an election. A lot of people don't win in that movie, and that's kind of the point. I want to see. I'm ready to see Tracy Flick win, and that's why I don't want that sentiment. And listen, I trust Tom Perrotta, and I trust Alexander Payne, and I trust Reese, who are all slated to come back. But yeah, I don't know. I'm ready for Tracy Flick's redemption arc.
I like that.
Or arc, or what did you call it?
Whatever the opposite of arc is.
Whatever the opposite of arc is.
I don't know. I don't have an opposite for it. That's why I couldn't do it. I like it. The good news is my last one here is very short, and it's pretty much just a punchline sketch. I'm gonna take a page out of your books and try to see if you guys can guess what this is, and I'm gonna remove the names here that I had.
And quick interjection.
Yes,
just saw the Maryland Terps one, Nick. It's March Madness.
I gotta say, when I am talking about college basketball, I'm a Terps fan. That's my team in the tourney. Who did they beat?
Who did they beat? They beat the higher seeded team.
There was a huge upset today. Princeton beat number 2 seed Arizona, I heard. That was nuts.
Princeton beat but no, the crazier one was for the Furman game. Furman beat Virginia, and it was like literally Virginia turned over the ball and Furman sunk a 3. It was like crazy. Anyways, sports ball.
People's brackets are going to be fucked.
That's a shout out.
I had Virginia literally losing in the final.
Oh my god!
They lost in the first fucking game.
Well, that's a shout out to Chef Helgi, who is a Furman alum. I'm sure he has been glued to his television watching the sports ball and is celebrating wildly in Chicago right now.
Nice.
Okay, so both of there's a couple of aliens in space. Okay,
Coneheads too.
It is Coneheads too. Correct. Both they're younger aliens. They've had some adventures. They're known in the cosmos for having had adventures on other planets, and they kind of get into their minds that maybe they want to go back and have some more adventures, more shenanigans. So they steal a rocket ship and they head to a planet together. They head to the planet Earth, and they have not been here since the 80s. It is now the year 2000, and they're confused by all of the changes.
Mork and Mindy?
It's not Mork and Mindy. One of them is a more
Mork and Mindy.
It's a more emotional. I love that guess. Only one of them was an alien. But anyway, so
this is the sequel though.
So because it's the early 2000s, one of them gets very involved in the emo scene because they really have feelings about emotions. The other tries to join along in some Special Olympics games, but things go very poorly. And they start to get arguing with one another about whether they should stay here, and they've only got the one rocket ship. And they have a fight, and this fight turns deadly because they are aliens with powers.
It's Special Olympics, you said?
And it was that was sadly a clue.
No.
And so an epic standoff begins against these what were cute, adorable aliens from our childhood, but now they have become angered with one another and they begin to fight in New York City. This is a mashup of two worlds.
Wait. It's E.T. and Mac and Me.
It is E.T. and Mac and Me. That is correct. Ben is the winner. And when I tell you that their fight in New York City is going to put Kong versus Godzilla to shame,
I feel like I maybe set the table by making an E.T. and Mac and Me reference earlier in this episode.
I wrote this down.
Oh God! Special Olympics.
What? Wait, that's ET, right? The Special.
Well,
and Paul Rudd would play clips every time.
Paul Rudd plays me. He is the new me that is going to have to be the one that talk them down and do it. So it's going to be fantastic.
God,
people are going to love it.
And so the emo ET is all like, ouch.
Yeah, he's just like he feels so much and like I cut because I feel. And he's like, ouch. And he tries to fix all the emo kids. He points at their hair and it like becomes no longer black and all bangs. And...
I'll be right here.
Yes, the soundtrack will be done by Blink-182 in its entirety. No further questions.
Down home by the stairs.
He comes out of the rocket ship. He's like, Mac, where are you?
Again, I'm greenlighting this one. I will watch it. I will watch E.T. and Mac and Me.
You can't greenlight. Okay.
I can't.
Greenlight your own.
I made the rules, Nick.
I'm just happy I called out the actual title.
Confidently and immediately, and you were right.
You were dead right.
I mean, has anyone ever more confidently said the words "A Mac and Me" and
E.T. and Mac and Me? No, he had it in the right order too. I have literally E.T. and Mac and Me.
I got it. I got Mac and Me tea.
Meaty.
Mac and Me tea.
Mac and Meaty.
Oh God.
That's we'll get some Chef Boyardee product placement in Mac and Meaty.
Oh God.
That'd be good. Well, I think we did it, boys. We really did it.
We did it.
And we did it together.
If we have a couple of minutes, I can record that Raisin Canes for the Patreon. If you want to stay on after we're done this.
I'm not doing ASMR.
Just keep it recording.
No.
Are you doing a promo for Raisin Canes?
Doing ASMR.
Matt and I we're pleased to announce the New Way is launching a new mukbang ASMR series called "What's Nick Eatin'?" You have to be a member of the Patreon. It's a monthly $5.99, but it's worth it.
It will be followed by a 1-hour dissertation afterwards about the neuroses in Nick's life called "What's Eating Nick." So you have to listen to them both. Is one Patreon charge. You have to listen to both.
It's just a live therapy session.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad I live alone. When I used to live with a roommate, they would always eat my stuff, and then it would have been who's eating Nikki's grapes. The produce was always taken from me.
That'll be
who's
my next.
Eating Nikki's grapes?
That'll be the next sequel. The long-awaited sequel to What's Eating.
No. The sequel is we found the guy who's been eating Gilbert's grapes. Gilbert goes to therapy and we figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
We figured it out.
It's perfect. Now we know what's eating Gilbert's grape.
Mommy issues.
Jesus. All right. We want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the New Way Podcast. We'll be releasing new episodes as we record them. When that is, you'll find out. Just tune in and see if there's a new one. And we'll talk to you next time. Cheers.